Hi, I'm Ann Halligan, a Danny's Place board member and Acton community member and parent. And today we are here at the Danny's Place Spring Showcase, where we're celebrating not only our first year in our new space, but we're celebrating the projects of our U Project high school participants, their community service projects, and also celebrating all of the other programming that we have for grades 3 through 12 here at Danny's Place. If you're interested in learning more about Danny's Place, our programming, how to get involved and support us, you can find more information at dannys-place.org.
Hello, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being here tonight. It's so truly wonderful to look around and see the space filled with kids, parents, community partners, and our amazing supporters. You all truly represent the community of Danny's Place, and it means so much to us. It's hard to believe that we are nearing the end of our first program year in the new space. It's quickly become our home. Today is an opportunity to see the space come alive, meet our wonderful Danny's Place staff, and our outstanding young people who participate in our programs throughout the year. Upstairs, I invite you to meet this year's U Project recipients as they showcase their projects. All projects are focused on giving back to the community through unique approaches. Downstairs, I invite you to learn more about our programs tailored for elementary-aged youth, junior high, and high schoolers. This week, an alum stopped in to visit us here. Danny's Place was so important to her, and it was important that she came to see the new space and the next chapter of Danny's Place, but also to connect to Danny's Place because her experience here was all about connection. When we were catching up, she said, "Every Monday, this place was my home. I came here every week for 7 years." I want her experience to be the experience for so many young people, that through changes in school, changes in friend groups, changes in activities, Danny's Place is a constant. Kids who come to Danny's Place connect here, they discover here, and these kids form meaningful friendships and community here, and most of all, they belong here. Thank you again for being part of this special moment for Danny's Place.
Hi, I'm Cameron Reganini, and I am a youth ambassador for Danny's Place. And this is the D&D Club. This is a very small-scale replica of what we actually do. We have a campaign right now. We're in the Witchlight Carnival, as you can see the map there. You take a quiz with the DM, our lovely Ren, who I believe is in the other room next door. There's 2 groups. There's one for the younger grades where they are in, and then there's one for now 7th and plus grades. I believe it also goes down to 6. You can be anything from a 8-foot-tall dragon figure or a 7-inch tall fairy. Yeah, it's just the Danny's Place website. So on their website, there is, I believe, a clubs tab. Look for Dungeons and Dragons.
Hi, my name is Lizzie. I'm in 6th grade and I do a lot of programs here, but my favorite is Sparks. It's a really fun program where we get to sort of explore new ideas in art and do a lot of different mediums, but we do a lot of different things, and we do colored pencil art all the way to mobile painting, hanging arts, and we also do a lot of games. This session is very focused on games and our end of year performance where we all contribute to it and we all are able to put into it and make it however we want and make it related to Sparks, and it's a really enjoyable thing where we can hang out with our friends and be ourselves, and yeah.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm a program coordinator here at Danny's Place. This place is so special to work at. Katie and I went to college together, so I know her family a little bit, and it's just been so special to be able to be here and be a part of the mission of Danny's Place to provide a place for kids in Acton to come and be themselves.
Hi, my name's Ayana, and I'm a junior at AB, and my project is called the Little Heart Science Crate. So basically, I started this project because of this statistic. Over 700,000 people die of heart disease in the United States every single year, but only 32% of Americans are aware of this devastating fact. So I started a nonprofit called Light on the Heart, which basically brings awareness to inequity in cardiovascular care for marginalized communities through the main pillars of research and advocacy. And I have a few initiatives like a speaker series and blog article, writing legislative campaigns, and now my latest one is the Little Heart Science Crate. So the Little Heart Science Crate is basically a kit to spark passion for hands-on science in underserved communities of young learners, and I wanted to target the landscape created by the COVID-19 pandemic. So in that time, quality education was not the main priority, but now we see the effects of that, and I wanted to give back to the community in a way that people of lower socioeconomic status would have the resources to get a STEM education. Even though Acton seems like a relatively affluent town, 20% of our town is under the national poverty line, and over 5,000 students qualify for free or reduced lunch benefits. So I wanted to work with schools to get these kits to these people first and then expand. So this kit will impact AB by addressing economic inequity barrier to education. The kits are completely free of cost and really accessible to all students that need it. Learning about the heart at a young age is also so crucial because heart disease is not going to go away. It's going to be the #1 cause of death for a while, and I want to make sure that kids have the resources and the education to combat that. And just generally, it'll expose kids to STEM and hands-on learning through a really creative and unique approach. So this is what the crate will look like. This is my prototype over here. It has an introduction card, anatomy stickers, it has a heart stress toy, it will include a heart healthy book, and then all the information about the kits and the materials. So it is pretty explained and detailed, so families can easily access them and learn how to navigate them. And I want to distribute them in 5 different places. Currently, I'm working with the principal of the elementary schools to identify which students need the kits the most and get it to them first. So I'm also distributing them at the AB Resource Center to families of need, local places of worship like mosques, churches, and synagogues, the sponsorship organizations that are working with me, Danny's Place and the Silver Unicorn, to provide the books, and our local libraries. So the kit includes 4 main activities. I'll bring you over here. So there is the circulation game. Each kit has a very detailed explanation, introduction, how to set it up, how to play it, so that it can be helped out by parents or kids that are in older grades can do it themselves. There is the modeling the heart activity. So this is more of a creative approach in the cardiology aspect of learning, so I'll provide them each with some model magic. They will make the heart. There is detailed instructions on how to do that. They also have the opportunity to craft a stethoscope, so they will be provided a funnel, plastic tubing, balloons, and get to create like a real working stethoscope. And finally, the last one is a blood compatibility activity. So they will be provided food coloring. They will mix certain food colorings together that represent certain blood types and record in the scientific journal their hypotheses and observations. And it kind of has like an explanation at the end of why the experiment turned out the way it did. And so that is what the kits include. Danny's Place is involved by partnering with my organization Light on the Heart and providing me with an $1,000 grant. So I am a junior, so I'm going to continue working with Danny's Place next year and scaling this project. So my future directions with the project are to make this kit more accessible. In my research, I found that the main languages that non-English learners speak in Acton is Spanish, Chinese, and Arabic. So I want to make the kits accessible in these languages to these students. Right now, I'm planning on releasing 25 kits, but I want to scale it up to 50 and then 100. And I also thought of the idea of using leftover prize money to foster a sense of community by creating like a cardiology-based art competition.
I'm Katie DeLacquis, and my project was on sustainability at AB. And I decided to improve the school waste. So by doing this, I changed the old copy paper bins into new real recycling bins. I hosted an art competition to create out of recycled materials or sustainable items, and each contestant decided to win a prize for that. And then I also put up posters across each of the classrooms.
And what has been your experience with Danny's Place exactly?
My experience has been really great. They gave me mentorship and some funding, which was really helpful in getting recycling bins. The mentorship was also really helpful in coming up with new ideas to include the community.
Hello, my name is Maddie Premiano, and I am a graduating senior at Acton Boxborough Regional High School. And for my project, I wanted to make a student common area in the high school a better and more workable place for students. So I decided to put in some like plants and a little mural just to make the space more vibrant and happy. And so that was just super fun to be able to, put all of that together, and then also painting a mural, which I was able to do with my friends, which was super, super fun, and I truly am grateful for that. Danny's Place has been super helpful. I'm working within the U project, and they were so generous and gave me $1,000 to be able to make this possible, and just increase students' productivity in that space. Danny's Place was able to help me work through some ideas that I wanted, and different ways to incorporate making it vibrant and more lively. So they were super helpful in that. They were always more than happy to meet with me if I had questions. I had plenty of roadblocks in my project, and so I was able to just say, hey, I need help. I don't know what to do or where to go from here. And they were right there ready to meet with me and talk about ways that I could improve it, or if I needed to, go on a totally different path in my project. And it turned out fabulous, and it was honestly all thanks to them. So I'm truly, truly happy with how my project turned out, and couldn't have done it without Danny's Place.
Hi, my name is Pierrette Lusomochi-Sasai. I'm a senior right now, currently in Acton, Boxborough Regional High School. And this is kind of my journey to creating a reflective zine. And so around last year in the fall, I wanted to look into ways in which I can bring awareness to the migrant families here in Acton. And so I realized and discovered that there were an influx of Haitian migrants coming in. So I decided to kind of just research into that, why they're coming, their culture and their lifestyle. And later on, a few weeks after, since I love poetry and I love to write short stories, I decided to look into narratives and kind of ways in which I can implement these literature-based topics within my zine. And lastly, I realized it was not just Haitian migrants that were coming in, but also migrants from Latin American countries. And so I decided to look into that as well, kind of why they were coming in, why their culture and their lifestyle as well, which is kind of this whole basis of everything right here. And later on, after all of that, I kind of did some interviews with some actual migrants, and one of them is an officer from Acton, the other is who works at a shelter in town nearby Acton, and lastly, the final person who had moved here 8 years ago. So kind of from all of that, when I asked them, what is one thing you think the families here may need? They told me, and what I gathered was that right now in the shelter, they're being provided a substantially amount of help, a lot of necessities they have, nutrition, and a lot of basic needs they have right now as well that are helping them being able to sustain themselves. But one thing I noticed from what they told me is that they want to be able to extract, kind of take away from that, and being able to build their own lifestyles, if you know what I mean, and also getting their own culture kind of back as well. The last person whom I've interviewed, she told me that when I asked her what is one message you want to give to the town, she told me that when you look at a person, you cannot understand them just by what you see on the outer appearance. You cannot just judge them or try to understand them by the color of their skin, or whether they're Latino or Latina or whatever ethnicity as well. It is much more than that. And so from that, I was so inspired kind of to continue this. So with all of this, it was built into this little piece right here. And this is my final zine, which is like a short mini magazine. So it's titled Far From Home, mainly because it's this whole idea that they are here right now, and where they had considered home is really not a safe place. Is from what I've heard, not a safe place at the moment. Hence the reason why I decided to migrate here. And so with that, in the first page, it's kind of highlighting why I decided to do this whole thing. And when I was younger, I was very curious. And I myself am a migrant, so I wanted it to be something personal. I like to write, as I mentioned, and also I had a lot of people in my life who had told me how much I could do, who had always enforced confidence within me, and my uncle specifically, who always mentioned how much potential I have. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna use that. So then later on, this page is kind of like the statistics as to why they left, and I noticed that the large reason why is because of political instability and political unrest as well, and kind of gang violence and poverty and several other reasons. So I really wanted to highlight that, since that is something that not many people may know and not many people may be aware of at the moment. And so the next few pages is what I love the most, because it talks about this whole concept that under one household there's always going to be that one person who has left a huge impact in your life, who has always been there and who you kind of can never forget. So I wanted to highlight that idea within these pages. So I did that for my mom, my father, my sister, and my uncle, who has left a huge impact in my life, which I'm very, very thankful for. And then this whole idea of home being that it's not just the things that you do every day, waking up and the daily things that you do within the household, but it's rather more like the people within the household and what they hold in your life as well. That's the whole concept of home I wanted to highlight. Alongside that with family, and kind of again that wanting to separate from the shelter and have their own lifestyle and being able to maintain themselves outside of it as well. And lastly, this is kind of what the community can do. This is on the page, it's a little summary of it, but here on the poster, it's more of little codes, like websites you can go to. They can be updated, they can help run volunteer children activities, post job openings, and some of them do have the work permits and also donate as well. So those are some of the things that we can do to help and contribute to the families right now in Acton. And so with all of that, this is kind of the testimonies and kind of what many of them said to me during my interviews. And this is kind of a little thank you page. And this is the final page, a little message to the readers. And this is little me when I was younger, back in my birth country. And so this is kind of the evolution of my whole project and kind of my piece. And one thing I think that Denny's Place helped me with a lot was they helped me kind of see how much within a zine, how much personal it can be. And with that, I think that was the most helpful or advice I could have received, because that kind of led me in a really interesting pathway down to creating this piece. Without that this piece kind of would not be here, and me being able to look into the narrative part of my research as well would not be here. And so I'm very thankful for that, just bringing and lighting up that idea in my life.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I taught a class to some middle schoolers on how to make their own cookie recipe. So we went through 2 days of testing what different ingredients did in oven temperatures, and then they were able to test and create their own recipe. I made a booklet with all the recipes that they created. Here are the names of each of the recipes, and here are some pictures of the wonderful cookies that they made. These are all the student cookies, not in their final stage, but some very good pictures. And here's just some testing pictures and a big cookie, because what middle schooler doesn't want to make a huge cookie out of leftovers? Danny's Place has been very good. We've had meetings throughout the year with planning this, some here, some on Zoom. They've just been very kind and very generous with what they've offered me.